Hello again, everyone. Welcome back. In this technical analysis of the stock market video, we're going to take a look at the financials this week. We're going to look at three big banks. The banks have had a heck of a move. The financials had a heck of a move. Well, let's just start off here with the ETF dashboard that I went over with my members today. And you can see this week, I have 16 sectors up here. All 16 were positive, and it was one heck of a week, as we know, with the surge that happened from post-election, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The biggest mover was consumer discretionary. So you ask yourself, so we had consumer discretionary, you have several others that were in the 6% range: energy, industrial, semiconductors, technology. So why am I focusing on banks or financials? Well, let's take a look. The financials were up 5.5%. Let's take a look at XLF. Here's the 5.5%, up $2.55, continuing to trend pretty strongly. Here's the daily view. Friday, they were up 44 cents. Now, they're well above the calendar channels, just like we did here, just like we did here. So what happened after that, when we got above the RSI level of 70, above the calendar channels, got a pretty good little corrective move back for probably a couple of weeks here, maybe a week and a half here. So we'll see what we get in here going forward. But, we had a heck of a move. We're pretty extended. Let's take a look. Okay, let's take a look at those banks. So the reason I'm looking at in financials is 5.5%. Well, it's not anything to get too excited about. It's great. But let's take a look at this. The KBE, the S&P Bank ETF, up 9.4% on the week. Huge, huge move. Now, where is it sitting? This is a weekly view. We come back, we're right there at the high from January of 22, and that high was right around 60.41. I think this might have been a little bit higher, 60.60. So the 60.41 is coming from where? The 2007 high. Kind of interesting. So here we are, back to 2007, before the whole great financial crisis, before the whole too big to fail. And we are right there. And we snuck a little bit above it this week, pulled back down, and ended up closing the week at 59.52. So right now we got divergence on the RSI. That can always go away if we continue to surge. We'll see what happens. So that's the picture here on the KBE on the weekly view. And here's the daily view. Yeah, it's extended on the daily, well above the calendar channels, just like I talked about on XLF and above the RSI. So that is KBE. Let's take a look at the regional banks. So this was 9.4. The regional banks, 10.8. So they are even more extended in terms of the move that they had, and it was bigger than KBE. We are into what looks to me like a resistance zone. So I'm calling it a resistance zone because these highs from August of 22, November of 22, January of 23, these little counter trend peaks, okay? This is the zone that they formed in here, and that's what we got into this week. And so far, we got a little bit of repulsion out of that, a little bit of rejection. So we'll see. We closed right down below that zone. And what are we talking about? We're talking about between, let's just go right here, 68.83, and the lower one is, well, let me just take the high. 65.32. So 65.30 to 68.80 in that area. And that's what we got into with the high at 65.46 here this last week. So pretty interesting picture here on the regional banks. So we'll see what happens. We've had a pretty strong move. Maybe we just chop sideways for a little bit. Let's take a look. We've looked at the financial XLF. We looked at the banks. Let's look at some individual banks. I'm going to start off with JP Morgan. So JP Morgan Chase up 6.3%, pretty strong move, well above the 5.5% of XLF, not as good as the bank sectors, but still pretty strong. This has been trending very nicely over the last several months. And if we go back and take a look at the monthly view, you could see the kind of run that it's had. I mean, here's that 2007 high. Here's the 2000, what is that? That's 2001. So here's the 2007 that I just referenced on KBE. And the collapse in the great financial crisis. And then look where we're sitting now. I mean, pretty significant move here on JP Morgan Chase. And it just keeps trending. We're getting a little bit of divergence showing up, though, here with this last push. So that's the monthly view. We go back to the weekly view. And let's take a look at Bank of America. So let me pull up BAC, Bank of America Corporation, up 8.1%. That's a little better. Now that's getting into the performance range of KBE. And what's interesting is I notice how we just kind of nudge above this weekly high that occurred in July. So we're getting above July, but we're not even close to the December 21, January 22 highs. So we'll see what is it going to take to get above that. Can it keep pushing? When we take a look at the long-term monthly picture, we're not even close on Bank of America to the 2007 highs. Okay, so pretty interesting. That was a huge collapse here. We went all the way down into the $2.52 range from $55, and we're sitting at 45 now on Bank of America. All right, so here's the weekly view. The real question is, can we continue to push? Everybody, it was just a huge surge into the banks this week, and I think everybody's thinking that they're going to get helped with deregulation and a whole lot of other things. So we'll see. And then the last one I want to take a look at is Wells Fargo. So Wells Fargo, of the three I'm pulling up, Wells Fargo was the best, up 8.3% in this move. Now this looks like an upward trending channel to me. I just took these two lows projected from this high, because this almost looks like a 5-wave move. This looks like a nice third wave in here, actually. Looks like wave. Here's what I'm talking about. I mean, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we got a fifth wave that's either there or very close to being finished. I mean, we had a pretty good push, and then we pulled back quite a bit from the high. High $70.13. We closed at, oh, where did we, that's not right. The high is not 70.13. The high is 74.27, and we closed at 70.04. So about $4 off the high. So that is an interesting picture on Wells Fargo. And here's the long-term picture on Wells Fargo, the monthly view. This has had quite a bit of volatility, but you could see it is well above the high that was achieved right here in September of 2008, which is kind of interesting. That was above the mid 2007 highs. And then we punched higher here in December 2017. And then, of course, here's the COVID crash that occurred, sell off in here into late 20. And now we've come back and we're sitting at all-time highs here on Wells Fargo. So they've made a good, strong comeback, and we'll see how much further this goes. But it's had a short-term, just like the other banks, pretty strong move, and well above the Keltner channels and well into overbought territory. Okay, that's the picture for this weekend. If everybody felt like the video was helpful, give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, hit that little subscriber button. If you'd like more of this information, head on over to joehenches.net. Everyone have a wonderful week. We'll talk to you on the next video.